Grand Rising, wonderful souls, and welcome to Bronwen's Cove Tarot. This is a timeless collective reading on what is coming forward. If you are a new face, welcome, and it's really good to have you here. And if you are a returning subscriber, soul family, it's good to have you back. Okay, you know how my reads go. Please get your snacks, get your tea, get your coffee, get yourself comfortable, okay? Now, I always start off my readers with a legal disclaimer. I know that they can sometimes be boring. You can skip them if you want to. However, I prefer you heard them before we went on. I'd start off just by saying that all of my readings, both personal and collective, are for entertainment purposes only. We have to use our discernment and our common sense when we are watching tarot. Know that my readings are only for confirmation and clarity on what you already intuitively know. If it's not giving you confirmation, then it's not for you, and that's okay. My readings are collective, meaning I'm picking up on a lot of different energies, not just yours. I'll be picking up on loads and loads and loads. So parts of it may resonate, maybe all of it will resonate, or maybe none of it will resonate, and what doesn't resonate for you will resonate for someone else. If I say he, she, masculine or feminine, I am picking up on energies. It is up to you and your personal story whether or not you wish to assign gender roles. You don't have to. You can swap them around, you can get rid of them altogether, or you can leave them as they are. Just make sure that you are not making it fit if it doesn't. Anything else? Yeah, anything that comes up in the areas of law, mental health, physical health, or finance. If it really does resonate with you, and it's something that you're either experiencing or it just really is a confirmation of something, please make sure that you are reaching out to those in those professional areas and getting advice from them before you take any advice from me, because I'm not a professional in those areas and I don't state that I am. I'm just a channel. Now let's crack on, shall we? I'm going to ring my lady bell. This is just to cleanse the air around me. If you have any type of sound sensitivity, or you just don't like the sound of high frequencies, please can you turn down your volume now? Okay. Perfect. And that's the song that I've had playing in my head on and off for the last couple of days. It's by the Magic Roundabout and it's called It's Got to Be Perfect. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be worth it, yeah. Too many people take second best, but I won't take anything less. It's got to be, yeah, perfect. That song was like the theme for my childhood, because when I was little, my dad had a turntable. And it was a turntable that later on he had either affixed onto like a CD, it wasn't a CD, I'm showing my age. It was a tape recorder and it had a radio underneath. And that was one of my mum's favourite songs when I was little, was the Magic Roundabout and It's Got to Be Perfect. And we used to dance around the hallway to this song. So someone here is either reliving childhood memories through music, or someone has set their standards of how they want to interact in a relationship, because the rest of that song is just talking about how people, because it does say some people are foolish, they give their love away too quickly, or they don't have standards, or they get rid of their standards just to have that love. And the person who's singing is like, well, I'm not doing it this time. This time I'm going to make sure that I get perfect love. So let's see, where would you like me to go? This one? No, which one would you like me to go for? Underneath. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be worth it, yeah. Too many people take second best, but I won't take anything less. It's got to be, yeah. Now you've got Shapeshifter on the top, and for the light attributes it says skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything, and divine child is underneath. Innocence, purity and redemption suggests a special connection with the divine. So maybe somebody's, that little list someone has of what they want for it to be perfect in a relationship is that someone here in both of these, it's talking about consciousness, it's talking about because I went to say Christ consciousness. There may be a want or encouragement for whoever it is that comes in to be someone that is either open-minded to spirituality or is very, very connected to the divine. And it's either, because I think everyone, you know, if you are, like, for example, I'm an omnist. Of course, I would like the person that I connect with to either be an omnist or be open to exploring that, and the same way that I would be open to exploring their ideas when it comes to spirituality. There's definitely this energy of this may be coming in. I want to know more. I want to know why I got that song, because it's such a good song. And you've got child coming up again. And it says child magical. Seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. This is inner child. That's why I was getting childhood. There's something about childhood and memories when it comes to music. But I don't know if somebody believes there were fairies at the end of their garden. And I heard elderflower trees. It was always my belief when I was little that fairies lived in elderflower trees. And it's because my mum told me this when I was little, and I was obsessed with finding elderflower trees. 1 second. I get so many cold callers. Let's see who it is this time. And then they put the phone down. Anyway. Yeah, there's something here about igniting. It's your inner child. Someone's inner child here. Innocence, purity, and redemption suggests a special connection with the divine. Did someone, when they were young, something about seeing fae, seeing ghosts, seeing elementals when they were very, very little. And this may be something that someone has put on their list. They want to either connect back with their inner child, or they want to be... There's something about reliving childhood memories or doing things differently. Maybe someone wasn't able to express themselves when it came to them, their magical insight, or their insight into the source of all, be that God, Allah, divine source, whoever you see that as. Because you've also got teacher in reverse. Someone wasn't taught about this when they were little. Like, for example, I wasn't taught about spirituality when I was little. When I was 11, I had a next door neighbour say, "Do you want to come to church?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is. Let's go figure it out." And I stayed in church and was baptised. And I stayed until I was 16. And I left because things didn't sit with me that were being said. And that's absolutely fine. We all have, you know, our different paths. I still respected it, but it no longer resonated with me. And in my home, when I was growing up, we'd have statues of Buddha and Ganesh and all these different pictures up. We'd have, you know, Saint Christopher and a cross and all of these different things. And my mum's best friend, my mum and dad's best friends, were a couple who were Jewish and Hindu, and their home had so many different things from their religions that's what I was brought up with, just seeing all these different ones and respecting them all at the same time. So I wasn't taught. I was taught in a way, but indirectly. And someone here, I don't know what's going on here with either being taught that it has to be one way or no way at all, or just not being given any guidance when it came to the gifts that they had, because someone has had their gifts activated when they were very young. And it says here, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. So I don't know if someone here... they were either... I'm getting like really restrictive. You can't have false idols. You can't have this. You can't have that. It has to be done a specific way. Or just not being taught anything and being told that there isn't anything. And as a child, someone knew there was, but they didn't say anything. Like they knew there were fairies at the end of the garden, or they knew... I don't know why I'm getting the memory of when I was really little and I was convinced that Father Christmas was coming into my bedroom to leave that present. And of course, I didn't go to sleep, and I had my blanket just over one eye so I could look out, and I saw a flash of red, and I was like, oh my gosh, Father Christmas is here. Of course, it was my dad wearing red, coming in, putting something at the end of my bed, you know, putting in the stocking for the next day. But it's that belief. It's that I'm getting like the excitement of childhood when anything is possible, where you still believe in Father Christmas, when you still believe in the Easter Bunny, where, you know, your imagination fuels worlds. There's something very magical about a certain time in someone's life, maybe 8 years old. I heard before it all came crashing down. It's almost like when you grow up and you lose that sense of wonder a little bit. And if you don't have that environment fostering that sense of wonder in the light, in your world, no matter what your what your cultural background is. Something was lost and it needs to be found again. That's what I'm getting. And this song, it's got to be perfect. It's not about whoever it is that's coming into your life, or this opportunity, or whatever it is that you're going forward to, having to be perfect, having to be completely constructed in a certain way. It's knowing what perfect is to you. It's knowing what is awe-inspiring and wonderful and exciting to you. And that is the standard that you're setting for the universe, and going, universe, this is what I'm vibrating at. Universe, this is what I want to come in. And there is definitely excitement. It's connecting, but there's definitely a connection back to the inner child. I heard, let me lead you. Someone needs to let their inner child lead them. The thing is, as well, as with teacher being in reverse, with manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills, you have to remember that our inner child, when it leads us, it's up to us whether it leads us from fear-based or from the shadow of wounding, or whether it leads us through kindness and joy and adventure of when we were little. And how everything when we're little is black and white. We're either happy or we're not happy. You're either our friend or you're not our friend. That fairy lives in that tree. It does. I know it does. And it may have only been a butterfly that went past, but you're like, there's the fairy. And that's the truth for the day. But with it being in reverse, this is talking about how we take hands with both parts of our inner child. The part that is wounded, and help. This is what it is. It's leading that part that was wounded, that forgot the magic in life, or was told, stop shining so bright, stop singing so loud, be quiet, the adults are talking. Whatever that may have been, that shushed someone up, or stopped them shining, or stopped them from seeking out the support that they needed when it came to activating gifts when they were very young, because that can be very frightening if you don't have someone guiding you. When I was very little, I had my first experience with seeing a ghost when I was 5. And it scared the crap out of me, because it was very, it wasn't through my third eye, that it was right in front of me. And I used to see this same ghost every night when I went to bed. And I used to sleep with a blanket over my head, arms in, feet in, wouldn't move. And my mum asked me later in life, why did you sleep like that? You slept like that for 5 years, from 5 to 10. And I told her. And then I would have got a comment going, oh yeah, it runs in my family as well, that we have people that practice and see this. Same with my dad, but nothing was said. So there is this fear. There may be an underlying fear that someone is being led or encouraged to face gently through play. So if this is resonating for you, and there is something about your younger years, and when you think about yourself when you were 8, what was the thing that you loved doing, that you could do for hours on end and time would just disappear? What was that? Was it painting? Was it drawing? Was it reading? Was it dancing? Was it walking in nature? Whatever that was, you're being asked to integrate that more now, because that's the way that we connect into our inner child, because it's going to bring up fear-based worries that may have been held in our shadow. This is about accessing gifts. This isn't just about connecting with your inner child. This is about accessing gifts, because the first thing I thought of was from past lives. We have gifts that are laying dormant, and they're in our shadow. Our shadow isn't just about fear and about the things that we don't see, that we don't like about ourselves, or wounding. If you believe in or you resonate with past lives, not everyone does, so this will only resonate for those who do. When you think back to, for example, the witches and the witch trials in Salem, those women and men, because there were men there as well, that got burnt at the stake, is because they had certain gifts that the universe, that God, that Allah had given them, and they were practicing that, and it scared other people. For those who and I'm only using that as an example, this is the reason they got burnt. If you have had past lives where maybe in a similar kind of situation, that your energy or your soul had to hide those gifts out of fear of being harmed, where do you think those gifts and that activation codes will go? They go into your shadow, but they go here. That's my opinion. That's my experience. They go here. And then this is what you're being called right now. You or someone here in the collective, if this is resonating with you, you are being called to play. You're being called to hold hands with both the wounded inner child and with the loving, joyous, adventurous inner child. And whatever it is that you love doing as a kid, you're being asked to incorporate that into your life now, because doing so, it may bring up things from the past where you felt scared. And I'm only using the example here of, like, when I was younger, I was really scared of the dark because of what was in it, which was just ghosts or, you know, the veil parting. But when you're very little and you have no guidance, that's really scary, you know. For others, it could be other things. It can literally be that it could be reactivating something from childhood that may have been shut down, which is going to open up doors to other gifts from past lives, or that things that are hidden within the shadow. Because this being upside down is just manipulating or abusing students. This can also be to do with like cultural traditions, that some things are just taboo. You know, it does say, for example, in the Bible that you're not supposed to speak to or consort with those who do use divination or healers and stuff like that. But then in other religions or other cultures, that's revered, and those are holy people, and you go to them for advice and so on and so forth. So there may have been something that was limiting someone or stopping someone from truly accessing this, and this is the time. This is the time. Why am I getting these out? I don't know. I'm really want to take them out. These are angel answers, oracle cards. So let's see. What do we need to know about this new gift that's coming in? There's a new access code that needs to be, you can only access it by going through that dark tunnel or connecting to your inner child. What do they need to know? Yes, you got a massive yes. Remain positive. Listen, there's something better. Okay, so I'm going to take these two here. It says yes and remain positive. So if someone's going through a tough time right now, or if something's been triggered from the past, from your childhood, please first ensure that you are speaking to someone to get support, because childhood wounds, that's part of, childhood wounds vary in their size, in their depth, in their width, and how long it took to create them, or whether, you know, they're still being triggered now. And I'm not a therapist, and I can't tell you what you need to do just this. For those that it resonates, please ensure that you are speaking to your support group, because not everyone goes to a therapist. If you do, please reach out to your therapist. If you don't, that you're speaking to trusted friends or those who can make a safe space for you. If you feel like you really need support, I would advise that you go and speak to your doctor before taking any advice from me, because this is saying remain positive, and yes, but you have to remember that, like I was saying, our wounds vary. For me, I will tap into my inner child and slowly at my own pace work through certain things that may bring up fear bases because it's tapped into my shadow. If that is something that resonates with you, please do so. But please also be aware that, you know, our mental health and how we regulate it is, I don't know why I need to tell someone this, because I don't know if somebody is using tarot or oracle instead of speaking to someone who's professional in that sector when it comes to getting mental health support. Please don't do that. Okay, I know I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you on this channel that I will always encourage someone to go and have your mental health supported before taking anything on here. But with that being said, there's something about connecting to the inner child when it says remain positive, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Remember me is what I heard. So someone here is being asked to remember that positive child within them, the positive child within them. Look, I've got yes twice now. Got yes, remain positive, yes. Skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything has come out twice. Has come out twice. All right, I'm going to pop these down. That's the reason why you're being asked to connect with your inner child. And I think the reason why I am focusing so much on saying that everyone's childhood is different, and you know, depending on whether there was trigger warning, any type of abuse growing up, it will be harder to connect with that joyous part of yourself, but it's still there. It is there, you know. There is that sunshine within all of us. And I think that's the reason why my guides were heavily telling me to say to those who feel emotionally triggered by what I'm saying, please make sure that you are reaching out for help, because it is, I'm just repeating myself now. I don't know why I'm just repeating myself, not these ones. Which ones would you like me to go for? Okay, let's see. Now, why are we getting so much focus on the inner child? How are we going to access these new beginnings? How do we access these codes for new beginnings when it comes to our magical gifts? And look, you've got 10 of Swords and you've got the 10 of Wands underneath. Stop. And then you've got Lovers in reverse, and I'm not going to show that because it's all booty and boobs. And I know that YouTube will not like that. This is to do with also the past. Did someone dim their light to fit in a previous relationship? Let me just switch this off. I don't know if I have switched that off, have I? Yes, I have. I don't know if someone was dimming their light to fit in, or in a previous relationship, someone was hiding their true identity when it came to their spiritual beliefs to better fit into a relationship with somebody else who didn't have that, who didn't view spirituality in any way, shape or form. Because that 10 of Wands to the 10 of Swords, to the Lovers in reverse. And then you've got Moon. Oh no, you've got Death, la muerte. You've got Death in reverse. This is something that is still, I don't know, it's meandering in the background. And you've got Hermit in reverse. This is something that someone ignores. And that's not criticism, it's just observation. And I say this in many of my readings. We are spiritual beings having human experience. And sometimes we do this. Sometimes we ignore the wounds that we have because we're busy with life, or we have to look after our children, or we have, you know, whatever it may be. But the best action of self-care is actual self-care. Is actually saying, do you know what, this thing, it still comes up in my mind, or I'm still dreaming about A, B, and C. Or when someone talks about this, and this, it's bringing up a wound from when I was a kid that I saw being played out again in that relationship, where I had to make myself small, or where I wasn't given direction, or it really frightened me and then I had to shut down. That's what's coming through. So this is a spiritual awakening for someone here, and you're being told that if this hasn't happened already, it may become a little bit bumpy, but the more, I heard, choose the path of less resistance, because the more that you resist change or spiritual leveling up, the harder or more confusing it will feel. So someone here is being asked to be very vulnerable and very honest with themselves when it comes to past burdens or battles or betrayal that have happened to them, and ask why they're still holding on to something here. And it doesn't have to be that you are holding on to a grudge, or you're holding on to a specific way of thinking about someone from the ex. It literally can be that there is a trait or behavior or trigger that when somebody is confrontational or someone says something, it snaps you back into that flight, fight or freeze of being a child and going, I don't like this. I don't want to read someone's energy. I don't want to know their intentions. I want you to support me. I didn't have that support, and then just reacting, because sometimes it can just be a physical reaction. And this is the reason why I think I kept focusing on, if this really resonates for you, please make sure that you are, if you're taking medication, that you're taking your medication, that you are saying nice things to yourself, that you are, like, you're being kind to yourself. And it's that saying of, if you wouldn't say it to a 4-year-old, don't say it to yourself. That's what's coming through. And also, if it really resonates and you aren't taking medication, but you feel like maybe you should be, that you're speaking to your GP, or that you're going and getting mental health support. Because this is about, it's not just dipping back into the shadow to kind of pour light. It is. But there's something here that needs to be purged. And I mean like somatic released from the body. Because it's my belief that trauma is held in certain parts of our body or our light bodies. So you have your physical body, you then have your emotional and astral body, which hovers around your physical body. You then have your mental body, higher and lower, that surrounds the emotional body and permeates into the emotional body and into the physical body. And then you have all of the layers of your spiritual body. There's something here that needs to be cleansed and purged, and it can only be done by having that Hermity Virgo energy and Mercury energy of going within, being gentle with yourself. And if you can't, I don't know why I have to keep saying this, if you can't guide that light by yourself, it's okay to ask someone else to do it with you. And that's what I mean by therapy, because this being upside down is kind of shying away from that thing within. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why. I just keep hearing there's a reason why. What is the reason? Temperance. This is alchemy. This is talking about alchemy. And I'm sorry, I keep showing you the Lover's card and it's super saucy. Very, very naughty. So I'm only going to show you... oh, nothing. Even their facial expressions are way too spicy. But this is a way of behaving, I'm hearing, also when it comes to relationships. And it doesn't have to be, as much as that was the Lover's card in reverse, it doesn't have to be about romantic relationships. It's something that someone does when they're in a relationship to either appease someone or to shut down when they feel frightened. And it keeps coming out again with this, it's the Devil. Is that the Devil or the Lover? I thought that was the Lover's card. It's not. That's the Devil. And this is the Two of Cups. Someone is being... I feel the reason why this is coming out is because we do have this running theme at the moment of someone from the past wishing to come forward with some sort of apology or wanting to try again for some people. It can be someone that was friend-zoned or friend-zoned you, and now they're like, hey, actually, I think we should give it a go. And for the most part, the person that's coming forward just isn't the right match. And it's not saying that they're a bad person, they're just not the right match, or they're not at the path of healing that they need to be to come into union. For others, it may be, but this is saying here that before anything like that can happen, there is a need to be looking at patterns. Also, this is from childhood up to present time, patterns of behavior that were born from childhood. And it literally could be, and I really got... for someone here, there was no support when it came to, it's not just about what you believe in and whether you believe in Christmas and Father Christmas and fairies or whatever, but also having the child autonomy to have their voice heard. Child autonomy and having their voice heard is part of the Children's Act and all the Children's Acts that we have in the UK. That they have their own autonomy, that if they say no, it means no, which means if a 4-year-old says, I don't want you to cuddle me, mummy, you don't cuddle them because that's their voice and it's their body. There is something that was taken away from here or was ignored in childhood. It was ignored in childhood. And this is only going to repeat in relationships unless this is looked at. Look, upstart, tumult and revolution. So I don't know if somebody was seen as an upstart or someone was seen as being just a bit of a rebel or not listening when they were younger, or someone's named themselves as this, like I was the troublesome kid, but I'm hearing you weren't. You literally weren't. Look, honor, high standards and idealistic. You are actually someone of high honor, and someone was bestowed with really, really special gifts when they were young. I do believe that everyone has gifts. Everyone on the face of this earth has psychic gifts. All of them do. And some remember more than others because some have access and opened up that path and are practicing their intuition and whatever that may be, and others don't. But everyone has gifts. It's just that some are gifted those things at a young age. And there is something here about someone being very frightened of this inexplicable, miraculous and otherworldly. Yeah, there's a sibling or a family member who didn't like this or saw this. And there may have been... This won't be for all, but for some, it's either a mother, father or auntie that purposely did not guide someone when they were young that they could have. And could have given them a lot of support when it came to what they saw, what they heard, keeping them grounded, making them feel safe. And on top of that, there was a dysfunctionality happening in someone's childhood here in the family unit, be that the nucleus of the family or the, you know, the outer parts of the family, be that the auntie, the cousins, and so on and so forth. There was some sort of dysfunction. And I don't say that with criticism, because there is dysfunction in every single family. Even if you have had the best childhood, that we all have childhood trauma, and trauma is created from dysfunction, which means it doesn't matter if you had a 2.4 family upbringing, or you were a single parent being raised by a single parent, whatever that may be. Someone here purposely did not help or purposely did not guide. But they saw something in you, and they knew that this child was of high honor and was to be protected. Maybe that was like their soul contract, because you've got here spreading of conditions, influence and impact with transmissions or transgressions, right? Now this could be a sibling, this could be a mother. There's something here about understanding that their child or their sister or whoever this is, their sibling or their family member, had something very different about them, and purposely not telling them or purposely making it harder for them. Now, this can be because of two things. One, it can be also you have like just wild family members who want the drama and jealous and blah, blah, blah. But the other one is also when you look at, sometimes it's a generational thing, sometimes it's a wounding thing of, I don't want to help that person because my parents told me it was bad, or my parents told me that, you know, because if their parents went to church or went to temple or went to this or that, they may have frowned upon it. They may have had that gift themselves, but didn't say anything because they didn't want their child to go through the same thing. I don't know. But there's definitely this with spreading of conditions. And that 7 here is giving me illusions. So you have to take it as it resonates. This is either a family member, parent, or whoever that purposely did not guide this child when they could have, when they had the tools to do so, to make it easier for this child to come into their skills, to come into their gifts. Someone here may have shut their gifts off when they were younger and may only be dipping back into them now. And for those who actually dipped in when they were younger, but did it by themselves, I'm hearing. There is an up level coming in. There is an opportunity to access gifts that you didn't even realize that you had. But there is something here that needs to be looked at and recognized so that it can be worked through, so that this new thing can. I'm seeing like a light, like a beam of light being shone down from the heavens and coming down and bathing a person, but it's going to the crown and then through the body and then expanding. That can only happen when this, whatever this fear, whatever this is in the shadow, when it comes to the inner child, has been looked at. Because it's not about you have to heal it completely. You have to heal all that, childhood trauma, everything that happened to you before you can have this blessing. No, because if that was the case, we'd never have any blessings. We'd never be able to access any gifts because, like I said at the start, the way that we heal is we do it through layers. I don't know if I said that in my last reading, but we do it through layers, which means you can get to the age of 70 or 80 and you've healed so many things, and there may be one other thing and you're like, let me have a look at that now. It's not about that. It's about recognizing it and seeing what it is and being able to walk forward while having it by your side, and that you are leaning into that and being able to, pour love in, gently gazing at that and then stepping back out again. And that as you're going through life, that you are healing this. I feel like someone's angels, especially, they just want to see that this is being looked at. Why is my battery about to die? Oh, I didn't plug it in. Give me 1 second, my loves. 1 second. Beep. I thought I plugged you in, lovely. And I think this is the reason why I kept repeating. And I'm sorry if it was really repetitive. I kept repeating. So for someone here, this may only happen through therapy. Now, that won't be for everyone. For some, maybe they just need to speak to their bestie, or there's someone at work that they, are really comfortable with talking with. Maybe that's who you need to talk to. But for a specific person here, therapy is going to really, really help. And like I just heard access codes. It's going to open up some sort of access codes for someone here. And I feel like repeating, it's not a race, it's a marathon. Now let's see whether or not they're actually going to pick up and speak to me, or whether they're just going to put it down. They put the phone down. So let's see what will come out next. Okay, I don't know if I showed you them all. What else do we need to know about this? What is it specifically from childhood? You want me to look over here? Okay. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, we got 111 and 333 upside down. So intuition, insight, and enlightenment. This is being blocked. Someone may have shut themselves down, like armored themselves, because you have your divine masculine and your divine feminine. A divine feminine is when you look at child development and the way that we think when we're little. Your divine feminine is how it's your imagination, it's your intuition, it's your creativity, because your third eye and your sacral chakra are connected to each other. So it's the way that you also, when you're in an environment that you feel is unsafe, be that because there is violence, or be that because you just don't feel safe, you don't feel like you can authentically be yourself, or you're being ignored, for example, it will make a story up when you're a child that there must have been something that you've done wrong for that to happen. Because when you are a child, when you're little, when you're 5 and you're 6 or you're 8, you are the center of your universe. And the people around you, like your parents, they're also part of your universe. So if something is wrong, or you feel off balance, or you don't feel like you are being valued, or that your voice is being dismissed, it must be something that you've done. And your divine feminine goes into absolute overdrive and just makes that story up and goes, right, it's you, you did it, you did it. And that's a little voice that follows us through life unless we look at it and unless we go, but that's not true. You are safe now. You don't have to do that anymore. I'm okay. And the same with your with like armoring. Someone's armored themselves to the point that they may have shut down their third eye. This will only be for specific people, and for others, their third eye is working, but there's something that has been hidden or dissociatively been just blocked off, because your divine masculine is about doing, it's action, but it's also protection. Okay, because when I think of divine masculine, I think of Archangel Michael with his shield and his sword. Right, he's ready to protect. He's the divine protector, right? But when a child is feeling threatened, or that their environment isn't safe, they will armor themselves. They will shut down. They will completely put armor all over themselves, and they will harden themselves. So you may have a child, for example, who, no, they're not being abused or they're not being shouted at, but every time they love dancing, say they love expressive dancing, even when you're 5, and they want to put on tap dance music and they want to dance about, and their mum or dad laughs at them and goes, don't be so silly, don't do that. That's where their shadow is already starting to form in this life, and they start to armor themselves, because that was part of their solar plexus, that was part of their creativity, their imagination, and they shut that down. And every time an experience like that happens, they shut down more and more and more. And we can have that coming into adulthood. We can have that in adulthood, where we've guarded ourselves so much because of something that happened in childhood, and we don't even realize. Because 111, for me, this is about our thoughts. It says on here, intuition, insight, and enlightenment. Someone feeling like the black sheep in the family, and you have 333 in reverse. Encouragement that you are on the right path. I'm telling you, somebody either purposely, out of being a menace, I heard, purposely didn't help someone when they were a child, when they could have guided them. And for others, they didn't guide out of fear themselves and ignorance, out of their own trauma that was passed down from their parents. And it left someone feeling like they were between worlds. All that glitters. It's almost like sizing up every opportunity or anything spiritual or anything like that and going, no, that's not good. That's not good. I have a friend who I love to pieces, but she is absolutely scared of her own gifts, and she's very powerful, very powerful. And I have to keep reminding her, if you keep thinking in a worried way, you manifest that to you. And she has like this, there's a guy in her home. It's a spirit. He's very friendly and he seems very protective. And the first time that he came through, she ished herself. Not literally, but she was like, oh my God. And he was lovely. He was, in his 40s and wearing like a really dapper suit, maybe from the 50s or something. And he came across as like a father figure. And he wasn't related to her, but he was there to protect her. But her first reaction was to go, I'm going to close down from that because that's scary. And that will come back to something that happened in childhood that would mask us and make us go like this. So there is an energy here for someone. Someone needs to look at this and be very vulnerable with this, because you've got to be fair and regeneration. And I can feel someone going, I'm healed, I'm fine, I'm healed, I'm fine. And you've got blessed upside down. There's an attachment here, and I am not feeling like it is a negative entity or Satan or blah, blah, blah. I'm not feeling that at all. I feel more that this is to do with, this is childhood and how we, those stories that we tell ourselves, those negative biases, the codes, whether they are direct or indirect from our caregivers, from our parents, they're our first teachers. And look what comes up, the first teacher. There was something that was limiting, and I am not cussing out anyone's mum or dad or the caregivers. It's just life. It is life that we do the best we can for our children, but sometimes, unfortunately, the best they do is not good enough. And I know that sucks to hear, but sometimes it isn't, because they were never given, what they were given was the best that their parents could give them, but it wasn't good enough. And that is how generational trauma is passed down from person to person. So someone here is definitely getting this energy. I'm getting the energy also of somebody in the family I think they were a little bit frightened by the gift someone had. And it may also be that they didn't have, or they didn't feel like they had the tools to guide someone here or to teach someone. So for example, if you were a really strong, if you had a really strong gifted, whatever, of being able to have prophetic dreams or see ghosts or whatever that may be, if you have a family member who could have guided you but out of fear didn't, they may have been frightened that they wouldn't be able to control it or keep you safe, for example. For a very small portion, a person did this purposely because they were jealous. A very small portion. Anything else? Oh, hello. All that glitters is upside down. And thinker. And clean it up. Go time. This is somebody who overthinks and over worries. Someone over worries a lot. This is giving me like, did someone bind someone when they were little? I don't know, my shoulder's really itchy all of a sudden, but someone may have, this is family. That 4-4 there. Someone may have been bound when they were very little. Because all that glitters upside down. Someone was either worried or jealous and bound someone when they were very, very young. And this is the reason why someone in the collective is being advised to kind of slowly start dipping back into their childhood and doing it through play, doing it through things that, light you up, because it will help with the shadow side of bringing back up what it was that may have been blocked or what it was that was causing some sort of fear for someone here. Because if this is an actual binding, it's going to remove that binding. So this new access code can come in, or this new, the candle seems to be agreeing, but so that it can bring in this new level up for someone. I heard expansion, amazing. Now, should we want to take those ones? No, which ones? Under. Okay, let's see if I can reach those. Eep. I like to mush them all up so they're not biased in any way. Let me turn them this way. What else do we need to know about this? What do we need to know about this? You've got harvest in reverse, gathering of blessings. Bright heart, light, open connections. Someone was bound when they were little. And I haven't figured out yet if this is out of, because there's like a split. There's a split in the collective. Some people were bound out of fear by whoever their caregivers were, or by whoever it is that saw this light and went, there's too many crocodiles around, or there's too many sharks. I need to bind this person until they're old enough to know how to do this. But it was never taken off. And for the other portion of the collective, this was done because someone in the collective is of honor, of high standards, and idealistic. They are revered, I heard, in the ethers by angels. They are loved by angels. And by fate, and by like the inner kingdoms and elementals. This divine child, the innocence, purity, and redemption suggests a special connection to the divine. So I'm getting that somebody may have been bound by someone here who should have been a teacher, but instead they may have bound them out of safety, because if there were other sharks out there, there may have been other sharks out there to stop someone being harvested. That is really specific, because someone has a light that radiates out of their heart space. And who knew this though? Who was aware of this? You got building your world, creation, expansion, and networking. Somebody who didn't want you to network. This is somebody who was connected to a spiritual community of those who were seen as divine feminines, magnetic and receptive power. And you've got eternal flame, ancestry, and legacy with sacred purpose. They had some sort of knowledge about someone's purpose in life. This is like really important. This dipping into the shadow and slowly healing this is really important, because someone was bound to either stop them being harvested, stop them being used, stop them being blocked altogether by this. I keep hearing coven, but I'm seeing a church. I'm seeing like a spiritual gathering, but they're a coven, or there's something along those lines. It's giving me like the Discovery of Witches, the books. And the Discovery of Witches is also a TV program now. And it's the energy of the female protagonist not realizing that she is a witch. And it's just a label. So you can change that to Starseed, to Chosen One, whatever you wish. But this person realizing that they have all of these powers and they're really powerful, but they've not, for someone here, they haven't uncovered all of their gifts, but they were bound as a child. I remember they were bound as a child in that program and in the book by their parents to stop. It was somebody from like a spiritual community had to come over and see them and wasn't able to read them and wasn't able to read if they had these powers. So for someone, they did it out of love, but they never unbound them, because there's always been this fear that this person in the collective would be used for the wrong thing, or would be harvested, or would be hurt, or something like this. But now is the time for these binds to be taken off so that they can go forward. There's something about Ascendant Masters being always around someone here in the collective, always around them. Because this divine feminine and sacred purpose is actually the energy of what someone in the collective is embodying and has embodied since they were a small child. Since a small child. And there was, you got someone here that wanted to abuse this, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. There was something about using someone in the collective when they were a child and growing up. It's like they wanted to mold them or mentor them in the wrong way. And someone was bound so this didn't happen. They were definitely bound. And now it's time to remove these shackles. It's time to remove these shackles, because this divine feminine and sacred purpose is letting me know that there is definitely a community out there who have already been molded and groomed, because their energy was read when they were younger. It's already, and they come across as being like this. I'm getting like the energy of like Beyonce or Nicki Minaj or whoever, right? It's supposed to be like this sacred feminine whatever. But I don't like the energy of them. I don't like the energy of Beyonce. Her music's great, but I don't like her. Look, she had a song, and I can't remember which one it is, where she was talking about spreading menstrual blood on the Bible. And people just kind of glaze over that. And I'm not religious, but I'm fully aware that that is like a blood sacrifice, or that's complete disrespect to someone who, when they started their career, was talking about how much they were for Jesus and God. I don't like her energy, and I don't like energies of people in the public eye who embody the same things that she does. And that's what I'm getting. There is a group, a community, or something like that. It doesn't have to be Beyonce. It's just an example, that act like they are divine feminines, that they have a sacred purpose, but it's been molded for them, and they are being harvested by someone else that has had they're higher up in the hierarchical structures, and I don't know who it is, and they wanted to do the same thing to someone in the collective, and they were bound out of protection. For a small few, they were bound out of fear, because whoever this was, they realized that they weren't able to manipulate this child. It may be because your heart was too bright, or the energy that was coming from you was way too bright, and the people or children that had bound before didn't have the same shine. And you've got to take it as it resonates, because I can't tell right now if this is someone binding them because they were fearful of competition, or if someone bound them because they were fearful of them being used. You've got balance. Someone did this for balance. You've got courage, and you've got abundance upside down. Okay, so for the most part, I thought it was the other way. For the most part, you definitely have someone here who done it for balance, so there was stability, but it was to keep someone in fear. This is what we're talking about when it comes to the shadow, about being scared of magical, scared of their own magic, scared of their own voice, scared of their gifts. And this is the reason why you have this calling now. These angels are saying yes. And look what angels that is. Violet flame. What colour are these flames right now? This is definitely for someone here. Someone's letting you know. And I feel like this is Archangel Zadkiel and Archangel Amethyst. And do you know what also? I called on the pink flame angels too. And look at all the pink in there as well. Another yes. Someone is being told it's safe for you to now slowly take your time. Don't just jump straight into that wound, especially if it's something that is difficult to look at. But you're being told that yes, you can be brave. Yes, it is safe for you to just dip your head, gently gaze at it, and acknowledge that it's there, and slowly start working through that. And that if you do need to speak to a therapist or someone that will give you a safe space, please do so. It's going to bring in some wonderful gifts, but I'm getting powerful gifts, powerful. Because you've got abundance in reverse and building your own world. I don't know if at some point, whoever this was, it's almost like the binding to stop someone harvesting, and the binding to stop someone from being the biggest competitor. This could be a double binding for someone. I don't know right now. I don't know. But I know that it was to keep someone in fear. And it says here, strength, fearless, and family. And then you've got balance here, and it's got family on there. And then you've got lion energy. That's your 5th house. But this also could be Sekhmet. They were trying to block someone. That's where the double binding's coming in. That is where the double binding is coming in. Because you've got ancestry and legacy on here with sacred purpose. And then you have the energy of a big cat of Sekhmet. For me personally, the confirmation in that is that Sekhmet has been with me since the beginning of time. When my soul was first created, Sekhmet was there. She was my protector, mother, healer, warrior. For someone here, if you do not have Sekhmet on your team, that's fine. It's whatever big energy when your soul was first created. And I don't mean in this life, I mean in many lifetimes before. The appointed guardian, the one that would lead you through, give you that light that you need, that they were trying to block. Where is it? Give you that light that you need to go inwards, to ascend, to evolve. They were doing a double binding. They tried to bind some being, some higher vibrational being. But because you can't bind higher vibrational beings, that's why there's a double binding, because it's binding this person from their own gifts, but also binding their eyes from what's in front of them. So it's like seeing signs and synchronicities. So someone here may have had a spiritual awakening late in life. It doesn't have to be, but it may have been later than what is the norm for other people. And that's because of this. They were blocking someone from seeing their own abundance. Fortune, wealth, and plenty in reverse. Keeping someone in stress, in lots of towers, in not being able to trust anyone. And I know at some point they were energy harvesting someone here, but not anymore. There's balance. There's a lot of balance that's come in for someone here. And if you do not feel balanced, don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I opened it on balance again. Now let's see what numbers are important. We've got 26, and it says wealth and prosperity, the same thing that they were trying to take away with that fortune, wealth, and plenty is coming in. It's literally coming in. And you've got wisdom and communication. So why is it blocked? This is the root chakra. This is the root chakra. And then you've got infinite potential. There's a binding that needs to be removed. And I feel like you can do chord removals, you can listen to meditations, and they do work. But if there is still something that is hidden within someone's unconscious or subconscious mind, and it is being held within trauma on parts of your body or your spiritual bodies, it's just going to show up again. It's not going to get rid of that without doing the work. It's the same as manifesting and saying, I want to be a millionaire in 10 years. You look at, for example, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey wrote himself a check. I can't remember how much it was for, but he was adamant that he was going to have a certain amount of money within a certain amount of time. And he came from a family of janitors, you know, and he says, I've watched an interview of him talking about how he remembers having to sleep in the car because they were just poor. But his mindset and the energy that he put in action to go to all of those auditions, to show up within the time frame that he had put, I think it was like 5 years, that he was going to get a certain amount of money and that he would make it within that certain amount of time, that 5 years. He was offered a contract with exactly the same amount of money, because manifestation is not just about thinking and feeling and just sitting there. It's also the actions we take and how we actionably go, right, universe, I'm here with you. And this is what I'm talking about here. Now you've got here, 777, the universe is sending loving rays your way, is upside down. Now, this is what I was talking about with, you can do the chord removals, you can do the, meditations, but you also have to take the time to actionably go within and do that healing. And we will always and for someone here, someone makes excuses as to why they can't. And that's what I was getting at the start. I'm too busy. I have children. I have to work. It's not dismissing and saying, everyone does. Everyone may have children. And I know that all of our trauma is different. Our wounds are different, and how we handle them and how we regulate our emotions is completely different. But every time whoever it is in the collective makes an excuse to not do that, you're making an excuse not to love yourself. And you are deserved of so much flipping love. Even if you only have 5 minutes in the evening to write down your day and how you feel and what your aspirations are for the next day, or what you're grateful for from that day, even if you had a crap day. And then at the end, you tell yourself that you love yourself. That's a beginning. That's something. Do you know what I mean? And that is what's coming through here. Someone here needs to take actionable steps. Look. And then this wealth and prosperity is coming in. But look at the colours that are coming out. Purple and blue. Purple, violet and blue. These colours here. These angels, whoever it is that calls in these angels, they are here for you. And if you've never worked with the violet flame or the ultraviolet flame or the pink flame, you can find, there's actually, if you look down below, I have put a violet flame meditation. You can try that if that's something that you're interested in, and see how it works for you. All of the meditations and transmissions that I put down below, they include higher vibrational energy, such as archangel energy. And if you look down at the bottom, when it says a chord removal, that is the only one that is a chord removal using Reiki. So if you are not comfortable with using Reiki, do not click on that one. There is another chord removal on top of that doesn't use Reiki. New beginnings. They've been blocking this for a very long time. They've been doing this for a very long time. You've got 999 in reverse. Make a decision or change what you've been putting off. What have we been talking about, you guys? Listen. spiritual awakening. Someone is definitely going through a spiritual awakening right now. And I don't know if that came out in my last one. It was this one because I've done so much filming today. Spiritual awakenings do not always feel great. And like how they're advertised, you see the meme of how it's advertised and versus what the reality is. And, you know, it's advertised of someone skipping through a field like, la, 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 this is great to have angel wings. When really it's feeling like being broken down and cracked open and then built up again. And that is the process. And someone is putting it off. And I heard you are worthy of so much more. Give yourself the space to do so. Give yourself the space to grow, because if you have a potted plant and it's tiny when it first starts, if you do not repot that plant, then the roots underneath will literally just dry out and you will kill that seedling, you will kill that plant. But if you keep repotting it, even though it is really messy to repot it, and you might break a couple of the roots at the bottom, and you know, you then have to figure out the right food to give this plant, and you have to keep repotting it. You keep doing that, it keeps growing, it keeps getting bigger and beautiful. And that is you. That is a spiritual awakening. You have to keep tending to your own garden for yourself to grow. Anything else that wants to come out? I heard no, you said it, honey. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Anyone, I would like to say thank you to anyone who is new that has wandered onto my page. And you know, if this resonates for you and you like what you hear and you'd like to hear more and see when I post, I would love you to hit on the like, the subscribe and the notification bell so you can see just that. If you are a returning subscriber, I love you guys, soul family. I really appreciate you being here, for stopping by, for commenting, for, you know, pressing subscribe and you know, pressing on the like button. I do appreciate that. I appreciate your comments and your emails. Please know that if you would like to have a personal reading, all of my information is down below. I am offering at the moment only 15-minute slots. That's 1-5. You can buy more than one slot if you wish. However, I will not be condensing them together. So if you were to buy 3 slots of 15 minutes each, you may get them on the same day, but they will be separate, or you may get them on different days. Okay, I have a turnaround time of 7 days. And the price for a 15-minute reading is $70, and that is an exchange rate in sterling of £55. Please do not send any money through PayPal to pay for readings. I do not take that as a payment, because I don't take it as a payment measure, because I get taxed by PayPal and then I have to get taxed again by the tax man, and it's not fun. If you do send it through PayPal, I will refund it to you, and unfortunately you will not get a reading. That is my healthy boundary, and I do ask that you respect it. The last thing I wanted to say was thank you so much to everyone who has been donating to the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe, for those who are not aware, is not for me. It is for a dog and cat rescue in Sri Lanka. It's very close to my heart and to my sister's heart. She is the one who kind of came up with the idea, so I'm not going to take all the credit. She was like, why don't we do this? This would be awesome. And I started it around Valentine's Day, and rather than going and getting a sponsor and saying, why don't you buy this and get promo code, I thought, let's just share the love and see if we can raise £400 for this animal shelter. And the reason why it's so important and close to my heart is because I've been to Sri Lanka many times, and the street dogs out there, it's not the same as if you were to see a street dog outside where you are. If you're in the US or in Norway or in wherever you may be, it'd be fairly easy to catch that animal and get it to a vet. Or there will be other people doing something like that, I can assume. In Sri Lanka, there are just thousands of street dogs. There are thousands. And the shelter that I'm thinking about is called Loku's Dog and Cats Care. They have 150 in their... That's their maximum capacity. They can't take any more dogs in. And they have 50 cats, but they go out daily and they feed, they medicate, they take any animals that are injured and they take them on transportation, hours to get into mainland, a mainland city called Kandy, so that they can go to a vet hospital, because they don't have any in the east coast of Sri Lanka. That shelter is the only shelter in the entirety of the east coast of Sri Lanka. The lady who runs this, who is the founder, is called Connie, and it's her life's purpose. She went traveling however many years back, and she found this little dog with a neck injury, and she was like, right, I'm going to look after you, and named this little one Loku. And this is for Loku. This is for all of the, it's also for the community, because the people cannot take these animals in because they don't have enough resources for themselves. So she also sponsors families that will take these animals in, and if they need medication or they need to go to the hospital, she will fund that, and she teaches them how to care for animals, from children all the way up to elderly. So it actually helps the community too. Anyone that would like to donate, even if it's just $1, whether it's £5, whatever you can afford, that would be, it would be the difference between her being able to save lives or not. It would be the difference between Connie being able to neuter the street dogs and street cats, which is actually what is the best way to stop the population expanding. And there's no one else that will do it. If you can afford to do that, thank you so much. I would love for you. If you can't, that's absolutely okay. If you could just share the GoFundMe with people that you love, with people that you work with, family, friends, anyone that will listen to you, in other words, that would be wonderful, because the more we spread this, the more awareness we kind of bring into this. And I know that there are so many other GoFundMes and other charities, but Sri Lanka lives on tourism. It survives on tourism. And when we had the pandemic, their tourism went down to zero. And then they had their government decided that they no longer wanted to have pesticides on their rice paddies, and it just killed all the crops. So they're in a lot of distress right now. It's not like, it will pick up in the next week or next month and, the dogs will be fine. They won't. They literally won't. If you can help, I know that I am going on and on because I love it. I love this cause. It's a beautiful thing. She doesn't know that we're doing this for her, and my sister's going to reach out to her once we have hit our target. And my sister was saying that she will record a video for us just so we can see where this money is going. They don't have toys at the moment. They don't have mats to sleep on. Anything that you can give is amazing. I love you guys. Stay awesome. I will see you in the next video. Bye.